In everything we must give thanks. So we start today's proceeding with a word from the Lord, a prayer by Keisha Johnson, a member of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra Organization, Inc. Keisha?
Let us pray. We have come this far by faith. And Father, this morning we give you all the honor, we give you all the glory, we give you all the thanks for the opportunity that we are alive and well to see another day. Father, I bring the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra before you, hence the reason why we are here this morning at this media launch. Father, we thank you for the 40 years that you would have seen us through the ups, the downs, the trials, and the testing time. But God, we thank you even now for this awesome opportunity. Father, we thank you for all our members. We thank you for our chairman. We thank you for our captain, the members, the supporters, parents, dear God, the community of Sion Hill on a whole. We thank you for all the sponsors over the various years. And Father, as we about to start this media launch, dear God, I thank you for all the persons who are present here this morning. Father, though our faces are different, our circumstances are different, but God, with you we are one. So we give you all the honor, we give you all the glory, dear Father. And Lord, as we continue to proceed for the year-long celebration, dear God, we put everything into your hands and we ask for your divine favor and blessing among us. Continue to bless us individually and collectively. And once again, Father, we thank you for the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra 40th anniversary. Lord, I pray in not a name, but in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. I pray with thanksgiving. Amen.
Thank you very much, Keisha. That's a really good way to start. Next, we have an anthem. The national anthem being played by one of the junior pianists, Ronaldo Brown. Ronaldo, and if I may add, a very talented pianist. Thank you very much, Ronaldo. Ronaldo is a star in football, you're a star in pan. An apt name. Mr. Ricardo Adams, Chairman of the Carnival Women Corporation. Mr. Rodney Small, President of the Euphonium Movement, Mr. Wayne Hull, CEO of Flow SVG Limited, Mr. Cleve Lewis, former President of the Sion Hill Sports Club, and that should be Sion Hill Sports Educational Cultural Sports Club in those days. Mr. Warren Buminite, Chairman of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc. Ladies and gentlemen, other members of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc., members of the media, I see we have here our own Cy Lillian, Ron Roach, mean of the Searchlight. Viewers, wherever my voice has been reached and you have seen me, good morning. It is said in the Bible, this is the day the Lord has made, we shall rejoice and be glad in it. And indeed, we have much to be glad about. In fact, we are ecstatic because we are celebrating as an organization 40 years. Aptly put, a Ruby anniversary. And I've often said I like the sound of the word Ruby because those of you know Ruby is my mother. So I love to say Ruby anniversary. The Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, as you would surmise by doing your math, started on the 4th of April, 1981. It started from humble beginnings. My research has shown that it is natural for organization to die than to survive. So for an organization to celebrate its 40th birthday in 2021, it says a lot. And I think we ought to applaud the membership of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc. It has not been a bed of roses, as you may know. We have had our ups and downs, our hills and valleys, our ebbs and flows. But one thing I can say, today, we stand here stronger for all we have gone through. We are 40 years old. Our achievement speaks volumes. We are the only steel orchestra in St. Grenadines to have won 6 consecutive senior championships. That's a record, and of course, I don't have to applaud for that. We have seen over 1,500 members over the 40 years. We've introduced our PAN program and many, many more. But I'm not here to speak about the history of Sion Hill right now. I will leave that for our esteemed chairman, Mr. Warren Buminite, to go into more details. But suffice to say, we are happy that we are 40 years strong and growing, and we intend to stick around for 40 more years. So most of us would have gone by then, but we know by our succession plan, our steel orchestra will be in good hands. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. Today's media lunch, we are giving opportunity to our partners, our cultured partners, our corporate partners, our club, and many others. So at this moment, I want to invite to speak to you, to address you, an outstanding citizen. I notice what I said citizen, because Sion Hill people believe that Sion Hill is a republic. And in case you didn't notice, I'm dressed in my green and black because I'm unapologetically a Sion Hillian. I will always be a Sion Hillian. If you cut me right now, you may be surprised. Don't run. You'll see blood is green and black. But don't run. That's because I'm a Sion Hill man. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in cyberspace, let's welcome Mr. Cleve Lewis to address you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Earl Bennett. Very good morning to all. It is with much pleasure I stand here celebrating 40 years of Sion Hill Euphonium. I remember it took quite a lot of planning by us at the time, because one of the things that confronted us then was cost, and it still confronts everybody today, how much it's going to cost to carry a steel pan. And I remember being a young president at the time. I was president of the Sion Hill United Cultural and Sports Club for about 6 years then. So you all can imagine that in my early 20s, I became president of the Sion Hill United Cultural and Sports Club. At that time, I had David Darky Williams as my vice president, Secretary Joycelyn Curley Bailey, Frank Clark as treasurer, Francis Llewellyn as assistant treasurer secretary. Durant Liverpool was our PRO. Elliot Daines and Glenford Prescott were our committee members then. And we also had 2 representatives from each sector. That's what we call it, sectors in Sion Hill, which represent cricket, football, athletics, netball, and culture. So that was the broad body. So we had a very large committee. And sometimes for a committee of that size to decide, okay, we are going to spend money here, there, it would have been a task for us. But we believe that Sion Hill, and at that time Sion Hill was the leading sporting organization in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We were very dominant in athletics, cricket, football, netball, and the cultural aspect was somewhat weak, and we wanted to strengthen it and to bring the people even closer together. And so we came up with the idea that we must have a steel pan. We hear of Starlift, we hear of Apocalypse, and all the others, and Sion Hill must be part of Carnival. So we decided that we're going to put together a team to bring about the formation of Sion Hill Euphonium. Our captain then was Alfred Tufel Gordon, and he was also the arranger, yeah. And tall boy Timon Jimmy James was the tuner. And it was, with this in mind, we set about gathering pans, spending whatever little monies that we have to develop the pan side. And today, I must say, I stand here a very proud man, achieving 40 years of hard work, dedication, commitment. Sion Hill Euphonium, Cleve Lewis, former president of the Sion Hill United Cultural and Sports Club, very proud of what you all have been doing. And one of the things that strike me a lot in the whole development of the PAN is the summer program, where we have, and I am totally overwhelmed. Every year when we have graduation, to see the young ones coming through and developing the skill of PAN, Warrior Knights, and Mikala Knights. I congratulate you all for the work that you all have been doing. And I hope that you continue in that vein, and that, as Mr. Bennett says, we see many, many, many more years of Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lewis. At this juncture, let me welcome our brothers and sisters in PAN. As I speak, I see epic song Captain and Ranger Johnny Pompey emerging on the stage. See Marla Nanton James, the lead person for Excess PAN, Brian Borgen, a member of Starlift, and of course, can't miss him, the unmistakable image of Jamora Francis of Southeast Steel Orchestra. Welcome, brothers and sisters. We're happy to have you with us to celebrate our Ruby anniversary. Without just saying that money talks, I won't say what the other part says, but we certainly know the importance of money in any organization. And one of our corporate partners, faithful corporate partners, have been Flow SVG. And to bring remarks, I now invite Mr. Wayne Hall, CEO of Flow SVG. Mr. Hall, let's say Mr. Hall. Remember money now, it's money we're talking about here.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And let me just recognize Mr. Ricardo Adams, Chairman of the Carnival Development Corporation, Mr. Rodney Small, Chairman of the Yulu Pan Movement, Mr. Aaron Knights, the Chairman, Manager, I guess you have a lot of titles, Mr. Knights, of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, other members of the Management Committee, members of the band and the Steel Orchestra, the press who's here with us, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to everyone. 40 years is a significant milestone for any organization, and your remarkable journey since 1981, not just as a steel orchestra, but as a staple of the community of Sion Hill, and I would say a staple of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, rightly must be celebrated as a cultural achievement. And from what I'm hearing here this morning, you're going to have a whole year of celebration, which is really fantastic, right? So I'm here to bring congratulations from Flo, you know, for Sion Hill and the Steel Orchestra, and to all the members who have contributed to the success of this organization during its 40-year journey. I am really proud of the positive impact that you have had on the youths of your community and the development of talent within Sion Hill itself. We as a company has been supporting this Steel Orchestra for most of the last decade. I think we started somewhere in 2014, 2015, thereabout. So that's in excess of 6-7 years going. And, you know, we have as our mission to maintain a close connection with community through culture. That is a mission of Cable & Wireless and Flow St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Moreover, I would say we are a long-standing partner of the entire community of Sion Hill. And we have done a number of initiatives in that area. And just to let you know that I would say Flo is a Sion Hill company, as Mr. Bennett said, he's a Sion Hill man. Flo is a Sion Hill company. Our biggest property or operation is located right in the Sion Hill, if you want to call that Sion Hill committee. But we also do a number of initiatives, from the upkeep of the Sion Hill intersection. We maintain the lawns there. We refurbish the bus stop there and maintain it as well in the Sion Hill intersection. And we also offer broadband services both in the Rosa Park, and we just put a new connection at the Sion Hill Hard Court just to serve that community as well. So I just want to ensure that everyone know that Flow is really ingrained within Sion Hill and has been and will continue to contribute. But just to share a little history on myself, I don't know how many of you know that I played pan myself back at the St. Vincent Grammar School. Maybe Marlam, you know, she's my schoolmate as well. But I am a lover of pan music and has been up to this day, because I see pan as a tool that has been used as something to develop youth. And I believe as a champion steel orchestra, and I imagine in collaboration with the Yulu Pan movement, that, you know, that collaboration and your prominence as a steel pan organization, I think you can help revive activities outside of Vincimas while we are in the Easter season. I remember back in my day, we had what you call the Easter Pan Festival, and that was a really, really great festival back in the time, where you had various pan sides competing, and you also had individual competing on the tenor pan. That as well was a fantastic time and a really great time for pan back in those days. So I'm just putting it out there that with you collaborating and sort of building up events outside of Vincimas, it would only help to build the stature of pan music in the country, right? Finally, I would just like to reassure the members of the Sion Hill Euphonium Orchestra that Flow remains committed to supporting this organization and its activities. You can count on us to maintain a solid relationship as we have done over the last few years. So congratulations on your 40th anniversary, and continue to build on your great legacy. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Hull. I can see you're a musician. Because when you said that Flow, we can count on Flow for support and solid support, that is music to our ears. So, a good note to stop there. Let me recognize Franklin Superdex Richards. He's in the audience, a member of the organizing committee. And, of course, just been advised that Marla, you have every right to claim Sion Hill citizenship. And you know why. I'll just say that your dad played for Sion Hill as a goalkeeper. And the closest spouse to you hails from the verdant and most beautiful village called the Federation of Sion Hill. And you guys say Federation of Sion Hill, really mean it. Sion Hill is a federation. So you have states like Mala Village, Top Village, Bottom Village, Roseau, Walborough, did I say Mala Village? And sometimes we say Main Street. So we are a federation, and we are proud people. And another person who hails from Sion Hill is the next speaker. Very creative individual, very productive, visionary, as young as he is, in my opinion. The man who is at the helm of the European movement, and if I dare say this may be an advertisement, the brainchild behind Steel Expression. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wherever you are, let's put our hands together and welcome President of the European movement, Mr. Rodney Steel Pan Boss Small.
Please allow me to adopt the protocol. Good morning. I woke up this morning feeling so alive, as we salute and congratulate the management and members of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra as they celebrate their 40th anniversary as one of the leading steel orchestra in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It gives me great pleasure and honor to greet you on the behalf of the European movement, not only as the president, but also as a former member of this community spirit organization. We extend our heartiest congratulations to all those, past and present, who have guided, shaped, and sustained this institution for 40 strong years. For 4 decades, the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra have been engaged in a lot of vibrant community work using the steel pan instrument. With artistic professionalism, musicianship, teamwork, and academic excellence as core values, they continue to embrace the visionary values of the organization leaders. Island scholars, policemen and women, business owners, managers, CEOs, heads of departments, degree and master's holders, just to name a few, are some of the positions members and former members of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra now hold in our society. Allow me to leave you to think about that for a moment. At Sion Hill, I can testify that it goes beyond just a pair of sticks and an oil drum. Pan is a community. Pan is about developing people. Pan is industry. Pan is prosperity. Pan can unite. Pan can impact globally. Pan is the vehicle for social progress. Pan is a powerful change agent. And we all can safely say that the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra displays all of the above that was just mentioned. Today, there are some important factors we need to pay close attention to. The cry for respect and acceptance have plagued our art form for far too long, and we must continue to fight and put our house in order and earn that respect rightfully. The stigmas that have been placed on our pan players, arrangers, and band leaders must go. Delinquents, time wasters, nobodies, sufferers, bad men and women, just to name a few. The dire need and plea for financial support have placed us in a place where we often think about giving up. But this morning, the Sion Euphonium Steel Orchestra, among other orchestras, have shown us that with perseverance, we can achieve. I am now going to personally challenge the Honorable Prime Minister, the Minister of Education, and the Minister of Culture to propose to Cabinet that we make the steel pan instrument the primary instrument in our school's curriculum and music programs. Not just as an extracurriculum activity, but it must be placed on the front burner of the education system, just like math and social studies. I have nothing against the recorder and the piano, but the steel pan instrument is one of our Caribbean identity. To all the members and players of the Sion Euphonium Steel Orchestra, you have come to a very important milestone in your life, on the life of the organization. I urge you, other than taking away lovely memories and experiences, do not take for granted what you are accomplishing today. I challenge you to be professional, optimistic, practice often, promote your band, be consistent, network, and continue to be community-oriented. To the management and various committees, as you look to the future, realize that you have the power to create a larger vision for this institution and continue to manifest greatness throughout the upcoming year. I would like to share with you the acronym POWER. POWER stands for purpose, opportunity, work, enthusiasm, and responsibility. I urge you to pay very close attention to the industry and where it's heading and align your organization with all the new innovations within the music industry. In closing, the Yulepan Movement Executive is committed to support and help in whatever way possible with all the activities that will be held during your 40th anniversary celebrations. Once again, I take this opportunity on the behalf of the executive and general membership to say major congratulations to the Sion Euphonium Steel Orchestra. May God continue to bless this organization and help it grow from strength to strength. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Rodney Small, aka Steel Pan Boss. Let me acknowledge the presence of one of the persons, Mr. Ilkeev Lewis, referred to as an executive member then, Secretary, Mr. Frank Clark. Welcome to our media launch. And Rodney, I take this liberty on behalf of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc., to fully and solidly support your call for pan, an instrument that was invented in Trinidad and Tobago, a Caribbean instrument, an instrument we can claim to be placed as a core subject in the curriculum in the education system. I think we all agree with that. The next person to address you holds a pivotal role in culture in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He's the chairman of the Carnival Development Corporation, and Carnival Development Corporation speaks for itself. That organization is the organization responsible for Vinci Mass. A person during his short tenure has demonstrated his ability, his competence, his capabilities, and in my humble and sincere opinion, we have seen an upward tick in the Carnival Development Corporation. I speak all this platitude not because I want to flatter him, but because it comes straight from my heart. Let's put our hands together and invite to the lectern Mr. Ricardo Ricky Adams, Chairman of the Carnival Development Corporation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Mr. Adams.
President of the Yulepan Movement, Ambassador Rodney Small, chairman of today's proceedings and also president of the SVG Calypso Association, my good friend Kaba Bennett. Thank you for your very flattering remarks. Wayne Hull, partner of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, chairman of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, chief cook, bottle washer, Mr. Warren Boomy Knights, captain and members of the orchestra, members of the steel pan fraternity, members of the media, viewers and friends of Sion Hill. Good morning and greetings from the Carnival Development Corporation. I'm here today to say just a couple words and in congratulations on the achievement of 40 years of an organization. Interestingly, the start of my tenure at the CDC was in celebration of 40 years of Vinci Mass being a summer festival. And that was only a couple years ago. So Vinci Mass as a summer festival is only a couple years, in fact 4 years older than Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra. And we were very proud to have achieved that milestone. And we're very proud to see that our partners are also achieving that milestone in quick succession. That means that you guys have been an integral part of Vinci Mass over the last 40 years. It is interesting when I hear some of the statistics. 150 active members, 1,500 people trained, and a record of 6 times consecutively as champions of Panorama. It speaks to the longevity and the impact of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra. I also want to speak a little bit about the impact of Sion Hill as an organization, because I particularly referred to my friend Kaba in his capacity as the leader, the president of the Calypso Association. So it is interesting that of the 3 components that make up Vinci Mass, Pan, Kaiso, and Mass, 2 of the 3 presidents of the organizations come from on the Hill. And I think you should give Sion Hill a round of applause for that. I'm not sure how many people recognize that. I'm looking forward very much to hear the plans for the 40th anniversary celebrations. I know that Boomy and his team are planning an entire year of celebrations. And I know also that a lot of people are asking what is going to be possible in that year of celebrations. What is going to be possible in terms of Vinci Mass? What is going to be possible in terms of the Yulupan movement? And generally what is going to be possible going forward. So I'm very excited to hear the innovations that would be proposed, because I do know that we're all still waiting on the word of the professionals giving us guidance on whether we can have fully virtual events, a hybrid of physical and virtual events, or fully physical events. And of course, I expect that as a member association of the CDC and an organization that obviously is in one of the leadership roles in Steel Pan, that Sion Hill will utilize some of the skills that the YPM has been using to ensure that, notwithstanding our double threat, because it is a real double threat now, of COVID and of La Soufrière, that we will have some exciting ways to celebrate the 40th anniversary this year. I am not necessarily from Sion Hill. I've spent some days eating some good barbecues on Sion Hill. So I don't have a green shirt, but I just want to say in solidarity, I walked with my green diary this morning. So that's as close as I can get to my claim to being. And unlike Wayne, I don't recall playing pan at all. So Wayne, you have one up on me there. But I'd just like to say our sincerest congratulations to the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra on the achievement of 40 years as an existing organization. And I know that you have gone, it is interesting that it's Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc. So you have gone from being a pan side, which is regarded as a hobby, to a pan side, which is a registered business, or a steel orchestra, because apparently we can't say pan sides anymore. So you've gone from being a pan side years ago to a steel orchestra, which is recognized and registered as a business. So again, congratulations from the Carnival Development Corporation. And in closing, I'd just like to say that with the challenges that we face, we recognize that we all have to be in this together. But by the grace of God, we will get through this and once again be able to show the world why Vincy Mas remains the hottest carnival in the Caribbean. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricky. At this juncture, we should have had the Minister of Culture, Honorable Carlos James. He has just communicated to us that he has been unavoidably detained. In fact, he has a meeting with the World Bank. Wow, this is prophetic. This is prophetic. I think I'm going to change and go into the ministry. Let's welcome Honorable Carlos James. This man has a sense of timing. Excellent sense of timing. Up you come, my brother. All right, thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. Let me say good morning to everyone who's here. I literally just came out of a meeting, a very intense one, and I did promise Mr. Knights when he called that I would make an effort to attend this session this morning. And it's primarily so because of the importance of the arts, importance of culture, and the importance of the persons who are involved in the art form. And this particular grouping, Sion Hill Steel Orchestra, they've been around for nearly a lifetime. And we have to spread that ideology and that concept where the art form and the arts is an important and integral part of our society. And it doesn't just rest with this steel orchestra or the others that will be established, but the length and breadth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have to spread the message of the arts and the art form and the culture and the persons who are involved. And I want to congratulate them. I want to commend the persons who have been behind this organization. It is in a sense a university, because I know the summer programs that you host every year religiously. I know the amount of children. In fact, one of my daughters came through the training program. And I know of your commitment and your work in building a sustainable environment where children, the discipline that you get from the arts, the discipline you get from learning, taking this simple instrument made from an oil can, a drum, and transforming it into something that is remarkable, something that resonates with our culture. Something to be proud of, something for all of us to look at and to build on in terms of the arts in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I see folks like Jomo and Rodney here, and I would encourage them. Let us spread this art form not just to the confines of the people in Sion Hill and other rural and other urban districts, but I know we have had over the years, we've been rolling out ranges as far as North Windward and North Leeward and so on, but we have to get back there where we can see the communities involved, the rural communities in particular, involved in PAN, involved in the art form, and involved in producing not just the music, but the discipline that comes out of it. I want to also use this opportunity to highlight the importance of carnival to our culture. And you can't have a carnival without PAN. And I noted last year we didn't have a carnival season. We didn't have PAN music. But we have to look this year to see how best we can put in place something that is going to push carnival, that we can have a carnival this year. And whether it is virtually or in a physical form, we must push to have a carnival this year. The musicians, the artisans, producers, arrangers, panmen, calypsonians, everyone, we cannot allow COVID to stifle our creative talents. We cannot allow COVID-19 to destroy an important component and fabric of our society, which is our culture, the arts. And we must all collectively examine, and I see Ricky here from CDC, Chairman, and I know they are now working and putting together something for us to see how best we can execute having this year Evincimas 2021. It may not be a sufficient timing for the mass men to produce, but we can have a panorama. And my idea of it is perhaps if we do something along the lines of a physical but yet virtual panorama. We look at the crowd control measures, and of course we're guided by the Chief Medical Officer and her team. But we focus on persons primarily who are vaccinated. And we say, well, if you are vaccinated and you have had your 2 doses, we may set up a platform where we can have pan music, panorama competition, and persons who are vaccinated, they can buy a ticket, whether it's electronically or otherwise, or using an app. They come into that particular arena, and we can all adhere to the social distancing measures and the health protocols, but look at putting measures in place to relax the conditions for persons who are vaccinated to be a part of an event or events during the carnival season. It's something that we are looking to flesh out. It's in my mind, but of course we have to seek the approval of all of the stakeholders, CDC, Cabinet, the Chief Medical Officer and her team, to make this thing a reality. Those who are vaccinated should not be held ransom by those who are not vaccinated. And we're not saying you have to be vaccinated, but we have to allow the country to return to some level of normalcy. And it's important for us to, as I said, we cannot let COVID-19 kill culture and kill the arts. When an arranger doesn't tune a pan for 2-3 years, or someone who has been skillfully developing the art doesn't get to go to a studio or engage in competition, or the music producer doesn't have artists come into his studio to produce, an artist so they are not writing and they're not singing, all that is contributing to the underdevelopment of the arts and our culture. And I know there are some persons who are in here who
or heavily involved in the sponsorship of Carnival. I will not name the names, but let us come on board and let us make this year's festivity a reality. And if I want to do it, the chairman of CDC wants to do it, Sion Hill Orchestra, they want to do it, the sponsors want to do it, and we are guided by the CMO and the protocols, then we should have it. But we have to be concerned about, of course, the pandemic, the discipline or lack thereof of some cross sections of our people, and how best we can manage this thing. But I think it is important for us to keep culture alive and for us to focus on the creative ways, using technology, live streaming, on all of these things. Using modern technology to assist and applying it in how we develop the art form. And again, I want to commend this magnificent organization. It has a long history and legacy. Has produced a lot of great men and women in our society, and they are also making a contribution back in terms of the development of the art. Organizations like this grouping should be recognized not just on an annual basis when they celebrate anniversaries or milestones, but recognized as part of the important fragment of the society, culture. It's an important pillar for our society. And we should support them and recognize them for instilling the discipline and producing the creativity of our arts year in, year out. And sometimes without a lot of revenue. A lot of persons feel that persons who are involved in the arts, they make a lot of money. There's money in it, you know. There's the potential to tap into the untapped resources. But over the years, those who are involved will tell you the selflessness and the human service that they put in just to ensure the sustainability of the industry. It's a lot of hard work, dedication, and we have to applaud them and support them when they can accomplish such a milestone. And I know there are many other smaller organizations who are involved in the arts and in the PAN movement. Let this be an example of your legacy in time to come. Let this organization be a blueprint for you to follow, for you to develop, and for you to spread the culture across the length and breadth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. From Fancy and Richmond in the north to Union Island in the south. We have to keep our culture alive, keep it vibrant, and keep it exciting. And it all involves the stakeholders, the sponsors, the CDC, the Ministry of Culture, not just the government, but all the stakeholders, the arrangers, the PAN men and women, persons who are involved in this process. We owe it to the inventors of the PAN. We owe it to our founding members in Sion Hill and other PANs and orchestras around Kingston and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We owe it to them to continue this legacy. And I want to thank you for inviting me to this important session where I can share these thoughts with you at this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Honourable Minister. I should name you. We name you impeccable timing. The Minister has given us much food for thought. Two things have stuck with me. Is one, that we can't allow culture in the steel van art form to die. And secondly, that Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc. is a blueprint for others to follow. Be very thought-provoking. We need to act responsibly, and if we want to ensure that the culture stays alive. We mentioned, I heard Rodney and others mention about the academic excellence of persons in the Sion Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc. I want to bring attention to Soraya Jackson. She is a recipient of one of the national scholarships for this year. Let's say it for Soraya Jackson. And let me go off on a tangent. She is from solid stock. In our family, we have a founding member of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Mr. Ralph Grant. We have a national champion in Dean Samuel, who resides in Canada. And of course, who remember the lady who ruled the roost, who ruled the road in the early 90s. I speak of none other but Bigna Samuel. That is the stock which she has emerged from. I wanted this opportunity. I was about to apologize for the minister's absence. And I was going to follow up with another apology. So I only have one apology to make. Tonight, we will continue what we call a roundtable talk. These are the talk. And we had on our flyer, we have advertised that BC3 is one of our partners in terms of streaming. I want to apologize for BC3 for inadvertently inserting their name in the ad. They are not one of our partners. In fact, it is STB Online, owned by Steve Wallace. That doesn't prevent the persons who are listening to me, who are looking at me, for tuning in tonight at 7 p.m. as we bring this roundtable talk about our Ruby anniversary. The panelists will be the chairman, Mr. Warren Boomy Knights, the captain, this is his brother, Mr. Tilal Webb, founding member and vice president of the Sion Hill Club at that time, Mr. David Darky Williams, a well-known dramatist, and yours truly, Earl Cabba Bennett, another founding member of the Sion Euphonium. Yeah, don't let my age trick you. My looks at least. I'm that young. I joined when I was a teenager. Well, we're at the juncture that we've all been waiting for, and that is the address by Mr. Warren Boomy Knights, as he outlined to you the journey of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc., and he unveiled the plans for the Ruby anniversary of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc. celebrations. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wherever you are, let's give it up for the chairman of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc., Mr. Warren Boomy Knights. Mr. Knights.
Special good morning to all. Please allow me to adopt the protocol. Getting old, so I have to put on my glasses. It is my honor and privilege to lead and manage this progressive organization, Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc., for the past 30 years out of 40 years of its existence. The journey was arduous and took a lot of prayers, sacrifices, hard work, and dedication to reach this significant milestone of our 40th anniversary. But I give God thanks and praise for His grace, mercies, guidance, and provisions. The Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc., as you know, is a community-based organization that was established on April 4th, 1981 at an abandoned building at Mala Village, Sion Hill. 10 years later, 1991, the band was forced to relocate to the Sion Hill village and was housed in a galvanized shed with no windows, nor washroom, leaking roof, and muddy floors when it rained. Yet, the players practiced their hearts out with pride, togetherness, and real energy. 20 years later, 2001, the condition of the physical structure did not change much, despite making several appeals to the government of the day for assistance. 30 years later, 2011, a change of government apparently brought changes to our fortune. A new pan yard was built to house the pans, and consecutive victories started rolling in year after year. However, we believe that the introduction of the summer training program in 1995 for beginners was a real game changer. Over the period, approximately 1,500 persons were trained to play the steel pan. And this was all part of community efforts to combat crime and violence, produce skilled persons, as well as to create positive alternative opportunities for the youth of the Sion Hill community. Today, we are asking you to join in the celebrations of this magnificent organization. 40 years of existence to us is a momentous time for our organization, because we are conscious of all the hard work over the years and how we persevered to reach where we are today. We endured the booing, the ridicule, sacrifice, and belittling. Now, it's our time to celebrate. Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc. is the only band that participated in every single senior panorama competition held in SPG since it was formed. We are also the first band to win a hat-trick in the junior panorama competition, 2003 to 2005. Yet, someone else was credited for the same. We need to rewrite that historic wrong. Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra became a household name and a formidable force when it comes to senior panorama competition. We won an historic 6 consecutive panorama titles, 2009 to 2014. This is a feat that no other steel band in SPG has attained, and we continue to blaze the trail for more victories to come. Our sponsors are very important to us. Sion Hill Euphonium, because of our size, we cannot go to Panorama without sponsorship, and for this reason, I want to recognize our main sponsors. First on the list must be Flow, because they have been with us for a long time. Arabesque Inc., all those t-shirts we wear every year, Arabesque is in the back. Many thanks to Wayne Crichton. Mustique Charitable Trust and the National Properties, they have been assisting us with the summer program, keeping it going. And Right Stuff, all our banners, we don't have to pay a cent. Right Stuff always produce the banner for Sion Hill Euphonium. Thank you all for your unwavering support. and your dedication to the development of PAN in SVG. However, today, we will unveil our 40th anniversary logo, which bears a true representation of the Sion Hill colors, black, green, and gold. Our plan also is to announce a year-long list of activities to commemorate the 40th anniversary of our orchestra. We started last Sunday, the 4th, with a church service at the Kingstown Methodist Church. Today, we have our media launch, and later on this evening, we'll have our roundtable talk where we will retrace the history of this organization. On May 24th, and may I remind you, we try to spread this thing out for the year because of the COVID situation, and these can easily be changed depending on the prevailing situation where the COVID situation is concerned. On May 24th, with Monday, we are planning to have what is called a night mass walk. We know numbers would be there, but we are walking in the street and we don't have to cluster together. So it would be something of neon t-shirts, white glow sticks, and things of this sort. So we are trying our best, and many thanks to our committee, to be innovative in our ways of celebrating our 40th anniversary. We are hoping by August everyone would be vaccinated and we can hold a beach splash at the Sion Hill Beach. Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra was the first organization to hold a beach splash at the Sion Hill Bay. I remember in the early 90s, all the guys went down and we had to trim up this place and clean up and all that. And we were able to stage a beach splash at that event. Today, it's a staple for another organization. Every year they have a beach splash there. September, as usual, first week in September, we have our annual summer program graduation. So we would keep that for September, summer program graduation. In October, we usually have our Pan Jamboree, but this year we will forgo that and replace it with a beauty pageant. We are hoping to crown the Queen of Steel. That is the name we came up with. In November, we are hoping to have a sports day and games day at the same time, where we would bring out different families in our community, and we would also, it will include interbands. Right, Kaba? Interbands? Right. And December, we always want to do a concert. And we are hoping by the middle of December, the 18th, we will have a grand concert where the general public can come out and sample some of the talent and skills that we produce at the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra Panyard. All these, as I mentioned before, is COVID-19 permitting, and we have to be guided by the protocols from the Ministry of Health. But this is our program. We didn't want to extend it too long, and we know things can change very quickly. So as chairman of the organization, I want to take this opportunity as well to urge all our members to go out and take the vaccine. It is very important for our country to go forward and our organization to go forward, and it will enable us to stage all these activities listed here today. Tonight we will continue. As I said, I didn't want to go in depth too much about the history, but I believe we have some capable minds that would educate you and give you information concerning the Sion Hill Euphonium. So I want to end by saying thank you all for coming here, and happy 40th anniversary to Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc.
Thank you very much, Mr. Knights. I want to reiterate, because it's important we do, that all these activities are contingent where we are in relation to COVID-19. But let me also add, there is an air of unpredictability. And I pray to God that we are saved from an explosive eruption of Lassa Fray. We also have to bear that in mind. But that's nature, and it's out of our hands. While we can vaccinate and create herd immunity, Lassa Fray is totally out of our hands. All we can do is mitigate against that disaster. And I pray to God, honestly, that we are spared from an explosive eruption of Lassa Fray. Mr. Knights mentioned the roundtable once again, and I want to once again apologize to BC3. They will not be streaming tonight. It will be STV Online, operated by Steve Wallace. Panelists, Mr. Knights, his brother, the captain, Tidal Webb, founding member, David Darky Williams, and yours truly, Paul Capa Bennett, the moderator, Joel Fugitive Bibi. It's always important to express gratitude to persons and organizations that have contributed in a significant way to the livelihood of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra Inc. over the years, and for those persons who are part of today's media launch. It would be remiss of me if I want to thank our pioneers. Without those pioneers, more than 40 years ago, because the band came into existence 40 years ago, on the 4th of April, but before that, they had to be planning. And I want to thank all those persons from the bottom of my heart. And I want to, right now, observe a moment of silence for all those who have passed on, those who are members of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc. May their soul rest in peace. We want to thank, for today's ceremony, the Honorable Minister, Mr. Carlos James, for your remarks. You're very thought-provoking, and you give a lot of food for thought, and I hope people eat it. I don't want them to eat it one time, but eat it in manageable bits, so they can be digested properly. To Mr. Hull, Honorable citizen of Sion Hill, we hold fast to your to your pledge, and expect a team from the Honorary Committee to visit you soon to see how you can help with the Ruby anniversary celebrations. We know your heart is in the right place, and as we say in Sion Hill, you are a corporate citizen with a social conscience, and we applaud you for that. To Mr. Small, thank you as usual. Your remarks, again, they hit home, and I hope we take them to heart. Mr. Adams, you all did the same. And if I may say, there's a common theme running through the speeches, and they were all positive. They were all challenging, and they all recognize the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra for the model organization it is and will continue to be. Mr. Lewis is not here right now, but I want to thank him from the bottom of my heart, for he was the president then in 1981 when we came into being. And of course, the idea had to have been a seed at first in order to germinate. And he was there also in the late 1970s. Without his support, we would not have been able to have signed the Euphonium Steel Orchestra. Mr. Clark is here as well. But let me say, because I don't want to go into what is going to happen tonight, but I can't have this forum because we heard about Alfred Tuford Gordon, the first captain, the first arranger. What we did not hear about is a legend, an icon, a patriot, a stalwart, not only of Sion Hill, but of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I speak of none other but Roy Jagan Ralph. He was instrumental, and I think we ought to recognize Jaggy of blessed memory and put our hands together for Jaggy. Roy pushed, and he pushed for the creation of Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra. At that time, the late Honorable Art Williams was our parliament representative, and in those days we had a 15 constituency. We just had West St. George, and he provided the funds. We'll hear more about this tonight. I don't want to be a spoiled sport, but I want to recognize Jaggy's contribution to the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra and all the others who paid respect to by observing a moment's silence. If only I had a voice, I would have sung thank you from the Bible. And this thank you, but of course we have good weather now, so why should I sing? But to say, on behalf of the Sion Hill Euphonium Steel Orchestra, Inc., I thank you all for your contribution, and we look forward to your continued support. May God bless you all. Walk safe. And before I end, we will be providing some snacks. I say will be because they are not here as yet, but we have some snacks for you. So we want you to, even with COVID, you could observe like you do and speak. You can still chat. And the steel pans, oh my Lord, I should clap myself for that. How dare I call those bodies or entities steel pan? Those magnificent steel orchestras, representative, I thank you. And I said it because I recognize Roddy Dowers, who came in later after we started. Roddy, kudos to you and Starlift. You're the oldest steel orchestra in Simpson, right? Thank you. And if I may add, one of our better arrangers and still our friend was a man from the bowels of Starlift. I'm talking about Josiah. Josiah was an important part of our organization. I want to thank Mrs. Latoya Darusha-John for the decoration. I want to thank Right Stuff did this banner. I want to thank Mr. Wayne Crichton of Arabesque, who will be donating our t-shirts. The management of the Peace Memorial Hall, this is where we are right now, and of course, Sion Hill Run Deep. The two persons here from the media are first cousins. They are from Sion Hill. I speak of, from Bay Hill News Network, Mr. Monty Cupid, thank you for streaming, and his first cousin, Mr. Rohan Roche Thomas, from various newspapers, mainly Southlight, for being here as media practitioners. Once again, thank you, and may God bless you all.